What's up, everybody? I am Matthew Weaver. This is Beyond the Harmony, beyondtheharmony.com, and you are listening to the December 2021 Bone News Network. Let's go. Kicking off with group news this month, I'm sure on everyone's mind then and now, Versus. Our favorite group was in the limelight, the center of attention. What is hotter in hip-hop right now than Versus? Fans are eating it up, media's eating it up, Bone is riding the wave, taking advantage. I have combed the World Wide Web far and wide to bring you the news like always. And to toot my own horn, the Beyond the Harmony episode is by far the most comprehensive. I think we went for almost 5 hours. I've waded through a lot. The deep dive that we went really puts everything else to shame. So if you want to recap, you want to relive Versus, you want to talk about Versus, check out the Beyond the Harmony episode. Who else do you know goes song by song to review their favorite group's performance like that? Check it out. It's a good episode. As you probably know by now, I can't shut up about it. I was there, front row. I saw everything firsthand. People love action. I'm here for the music. I was there for the music. The clip playing here is their performance of Body Rot. Bone was on the ticket for Snoop's show Once Upon a Time in LA. I know I've been advertising this one for a while. I had wanted to go at one point. That lineup is real serious. And this is actually my highlight of the month I want to point out. If you'll notice, this is a strictly West Coast show, but down on the third or fourth row is 3-6. Did you notice that this was not hyped up? It was not hyped up that they were both going to be at the same show, and there was no follow-up to the friction. What is going on there? Let me know what you think. Coming up in March, Bone is performing at the Shondale 15 Years in Hip Hop I Love Hip Hop celebration. It's in Chicago, March 11th. Some real choppers on there. Check out that lineup. And the God Rock Him is going to be there as well. That would be one to see for sure if you're in that area. I think that is a must-see. As always, I'm a broken record. 2022 could be huge for Bone. There are big things happening. They are riding the wave. They are on top of their game. They are in the public eye, and they are advertising themselves. I am looking forward, as I'm sure you are, to see how they capitalize on this. All right, I could do group news the whole episode, but I got to move on. Moving into member news, Crazy Bone, interviews. Crazy Bone did interviews. That's all he did in December. Vlad chopped his interview up into 16 parts. He did a deep dive with Crazy Bone. It's worth a listen. Crazy Bone was on Outlaw Radio on January 3rd. I think he's been on there before. I recognize Outlaw Radio, but I can't remember where. He did an interview on a channel called Intel Hip Hop. Pretty much the same thing you've heard before. Nothing really new again. Huge shout out to everyone who screen records the IG Lives. I don't do notifications on my phone, and I usually miss them. So I really appreciate when people upload them. I caught part of one of these live where he was doing some Crazy Melodies preview stuff. Big shout out to the YouTube channel BTNH Affirmations. Feel the need to point out that Crazy Bone has been doing interviews like these since the mid-90s. Give him some credit. He gets asked the variation of the same 3 questions for the majority of his life. He handles it like a pro. He's a great interviewee. He puts up with a lot, and I think we need to give him credit for that for sure. Lazy Bone has been in the public eye. He probably has a song called Public Eye. He has a duo album with HC the Chemist, Eyes on the Prize. Been advertising this one a while. Actually came out a few days before Versus. 16 tracks. It has the single with the video that we've showcased before, Mo Thug Warriors, Dice Game. You can listen to the full album on YouTube. Make sure you buy it and show your support, though. Lazy advertised on his Instagram a new album coming soon, or 2022 at least, called Hypnotic Rhythms. That's a very unusual name. Is that close to Hypnotized Minds and Rhythms, Melodies, Crazy Melodies? Is he taking a little bit from both there on the name? Anyway, cool cover. I have that shirt. I love it. And big news for Lazy Bone. He has linked up with Growing Up Hip Hop. He did a little promo video or preview. This is maybe a preview working with Tretch. And I think that's going to get some really good exposure for Lazy Bone. Mad props for working the business end of it. To promote Eyes on the Prize, HC and Lazy did an interview live on Lake Street. HC was there in person. It's a 45-minute long interview, so they really get into it. Worth checking out, listening to if you have a chance. After Versus, Lazy went live like a lot of people did several times. I want to point this one out from IG Ken Dogs in the background, and shout out to 9mag TV for the upload. Much appreciated. Future is bright for Lazy Bone. I know I mentioned this as far as group news a little bit. He has his hand in a lot of things. He is not afraid of the camera, and he behaves like a rock star. He is in your face. He's always showing himself, and I think he could really transition into, especially with growing up on hip hop, with being a personality. He has the right attitude, and he is very much at home on camera. All right, let's go Busy Bone. Right after Versus, Fat Joe had Paul and Busy come on live, not at the same time. Much credit to whoever posted this. Busy did an end of year 2021 Jam TV episode. The short version is that Busy Bone is a saint. Busy Bone puts up with a lot from the fans. You guys are absolutely terrible to him. He has more patience than anybody I know in real life. So, as always, much praise to how Busy Bone interacts with his fans. We love him for it. Busy Bone was interviewed by Holden Court podcast. You'll see that Flush was on this one as well. Flush's one might be a little bit older. I've got it on this episode. We'll get to it. They covered a lot of stuff you'd pretty much expect, but it's good to see Busy Bone interviewed. We don't see that as much, so it was a nice change from him just paying respects to the fans. As I was making this video, Busy put out a new song with YBL Sinatra. Great video. Definitely take a minute to check it out. It's a good song. If this is what the future of Busy Bone sounds like, I'm here for it. Flesh and Bone news. Flush was also on Holden Court podcast, chopped up into 8 parts. You can check it out on Holden Court's YouTube. Flush is a really good interviewee. He has a lot to say, and he has his opinions. He's not as interviewed, I think, as some of the other members, so he definitely has a lot of energy in his interviews. He was also on Intel Hip Hop, which was the same interview channel podcast that Crazy Bone was on earlier in this episode. Affiliate news for December. Rocky has a new single, She Knows, and new music from Sloan, I Remember. Hopefully these lead to both albums, or, in my mind anyway, it's going to lead to some other kind of just compilation of Mo Thug artists, not necessarily working together, but maybe like a sampler or just a compilation album. We'll see. And that's December, everybody. I think having Versus at the end of the year hit hard. It was a finale that I will never forget. The amount of artists on stage paying respect and bowing or clasping their hands towards Bone and paying homage was a night to remember. Anything could happen in 2022. We've got a lot coming up. We've got the podcast still, Thug Stories. We've got Crazy and Paul's duo. Who knows? The riding the wave of the fame from Versus could turn into all kinds of opportunities for the group, and I'm going to be here for it. And that's it. December 2021, Bone News Network. I am Matthew Weaver. See you next time.